Victory, Boogie-Woogie. Suddenly yellow and red and blue return to a black and white life because the war is over. And we do a little dance and set ourselves up on one corner, tipsy with relief, little syncopated movements with our behinds, because we have won, and that's our number. If we are to call ourselves human beings, we must come to an understanding of what victory means, because victory must mean that all of us are winning. Let sports have losers. Sports are meaningless. In every war and every conflict, we must look 50 years before and 50 years after. In every war and conflict, we must look 100 years before and 100 years after. In every war and conflict, we must look 200 years before and 200 years after in order to find the sources of conflict, in order to get to a path of healing, in order to truly close the chapter. Because it seems to me that it takes that number of years, that many generations to absorb and to tell the truth and release the trauma and fears and put the generals and soldiers in their fields to rest. However many generations to build up the resentments that would cause a war to be sparked off to begin with, the stories of nations, of identities, of conflicts, battles won and lost, borders and boundaries moved and crossed, first 30 miles east, then 100 miles south, minorities cleansed, ethnicities absorbed, the other thrown out, or trounced, or diminished, or erased. And with the establishment of new zones of influence and zones of denial and disdain, a fresh catechism of suspicions, and the installation in haste of watchmen and surveillance systems, and the re-education of the masses, the burning of bridges, and adding God to pledges and currency, and billboards and meal breaks and loudspeakers, and bringing back production and consumption and happy times for money, just enough us versus them and them against us, and Cold War and cold peace, a few parades, and for the people in the cheap seats, and tiny flags to wave, to stick in the graves of the best and the brightest and the youngest and the boldest, and those who gave a limb, and those who lost their lives, and those who lost their soul, and those who went to prison and are out on parole. But our colors fly high above them all. Then enough drugs, both legal and illegal, controlled and uncontrolled, prescribed and proscribed, criminalized and glamorized, over the counter or under the counter, to smooth out the rough edges and roughen up the smooth surfaces of life, to anesthetize our dissatisfaction with our lack of imagination and supplement our paucity of resources. Then we feed our children sugary breakfasts and sugary snacks and sugary chocolate milk and pre-sweetened sugar and post-sweetened sugar and sugary thoughts, so they can have sugar plum dreams and dream of things they're gonna receive on their birthdays and holidays and special occasions, and chocolate bunnies and chocolate covered everything with other natural flavors. Because we must not be denied. That is to say, the military-industrial complex, that is to say, the military-industrial entertainment complex, must not be denied its fair share of our wealth and our attention. because of the billions spent over the years that would have assured that no American would go to bed hungry or homeless or live in poverty, are engineered by design to stay in the pockets and accounts of those who already have enough. Our perverse Puritanism doesn't allow for lifting people too far out of misery. Rather, the imbalance we have between self-control and self-determination, which is tilted in favor of the morality of the justifiable defeat of the self by the self. We honor a certain kind of selfishness as a high American value. Tough love. Tough love. Matthew 13:12, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Let us take a proper gander at the propaganda that we feed ourselves every day. August 13th came and went. Private Heel Spurs was left twiddling his thumb and cooling his heel. The good people of Afghanistan are left to flee from the shadow of the dark underbelly of their would-be medieval overlords. In America, we speak of freedom and oppress ourselves by our intemperate lifestyles. I propose a new world order in which the game is to see how much we can help each other out as people, as communities, and as nations. I'm not talking about a potlatch in which we put on ceremonial demonstrations of our largesse. I mean actually coming from love and concern for every other inhabitant of this planet. I'm not dreaming. I am proclaiming the nature of the kingdom. It's just that simple. And it's my only message. Shall I paint you a picture?